Hey there team, and welcome back to the channel, and welcome to Rimworld. That's right, we're going back. We've been here a few times before. An absolute favourite on the channel. People have been nagging me to pick it back up, and so we are doing that today. There's quite a lot of people that are actually sort of not super familiar with this, even despite the fact that it's a prolific game. So I was humming and hawing about what sort of difficulty we'd play it on. We're just going to do a basic colony, and I'm going to do my best to, dare I say, tutorialize it. I'll explain what's going on as best I can. Now, I'm not the expert, but you know I'm very good at starting games from scratch and playing the beginning. So I understand the front end of this game pretty well. So I should be able to at least help some of the beginners, you know, find their feet. And then beyond that, who knows? Maybe we'll play 100 episodes of it or stream it or something like that. So essentially, Rimworld is the quintessential colony management game. A lot of people get thrown off by its art. It has a very unique art style. I think it's cute and all that, but I remember pitching mates to get this game back in the day, and they wouldn't have a bar of it because it wasn't COD or anything like that, right? Once you can make your peace with this cutesy art, you'll come to find this is one of the more complex, intense, brutal, and hilarious games that is on the market. It is, like I said, the quintessential colony manager. It is the top of its field. And as I understand, it never goes on discount, ever. I'm pretty sure that's a sort of a thing. People that put it on their wish list waiting for it whinge and make up Reddit threads and all that. But this game, I believe it's $50 Australian, which is pretty steep. And I think it's because the devs know exactly what the fuck is going on. They know that they have the best one. And you know what? I say good for them. But you could call me on that. But for a long time there, at least, I'm pretty sure it wasn't ever going on discount. So let's go. I could be totally wrong. I could be dated in my information. So we're going to get into it. These are your 4 start conditions. They're kind of progressively more difficult. You could argue the 3 are just different ways of starting. One is with 3 standard dudes and off you go. This one's with a tribe of 5 absolute goobers that have no technology. And then this is just one dude who's actually kind of teched up and switched on with turrets and that. So it's kind of different, but if we're being honest, it is actually ascending difficulty. And then naked brutality is exactly that. It's just cruel and horrible, and it might be my favorite mode. But we're going to go from the beginning with 3 people. Now, you've got these narrators. I'll explain these because it's not super well explained, and people have done some work on the back end and figured them out a bit. Essentially, you can look at these like a graph. You've got Cassandra Classic, which is kind of a linear chart if you wanted to plot difficulty and time on an X and Y, right? As time goes by, this kind of just linearly increases in difficulty, and this is an AI storyteller which was coined in the Left 4 Dead franchise, right? So essentially, this Sheila decides if things are going to drop from the sky, like drop pods with people that you could recruit randomly, or like food supplies, so random events and pirates attacking your base and that sort of thing, right? So she will give you a linear, fair experience all the way through to the end. This one here, Phoebe Chillax, is kind of deceptive. Phoebe Chillax is more of an exponential graph, if you know, talking to my brother nerds. So it spooks that the events are few and far between, but it still catches up at the end, and that's exactly how it works. So it gives you a bit more space in the beginning to get established, but it kind of does ramp towards the end as well. So she's actually dangerous because in a way she's newbie friendly because you buy some time at the beginning, but you can get slapped really fucking hard on the wrist when the game gets into the mid and late game. And then Randy Random is apparently pure chaos and random, and I would say he's like bloody a linear graph as well, but bouncing between outliers. So he's not true randomness. It's not like on the first day you can get an end game event, if you think about that. So there is still a linear time progression to the intensity, but he is all over the place. Now the problem is, for doing a YouTube Let's Play, not that great to play Randy Random. It's kind of fun to play him in your downtime, but you could potentially go 30 minutes, an hour without really much happening. So I feel that the most stable way to play it is Cassandra Classic, but the honest truth is they're all the same. They really are. Hang on a sec, someone's getting a chat drop out. I am recording this on stream as well, just making sure everything's going. Part of the variety show, which you can always drop by and check. Stand by. Anyway, we'll continue on. So as far as difficulty goes, it runs the gamut. I believe, let's see. Losing is fun. It used to be called something else, actually. I think they renamed it. But here we go. So, adventure story. Experienced strategy gamers on their first game of Rimworld. Well, that's not appropriate, is it? Not for us. Okay, stream's fine. All good. Strive to survive. Recommended for experienced players who want a rough story requiring skill. I think that's appropriate. That's what we're going to do. Okay, we're all good. Strive to survive, and we're playing Cassandra Classic. I used to be an absolute absolutist on Randy Random, but when I did a bit of investigating, maybe some of the weathered dudes are learning about it. He's okay. He's inconsistent. And then when you think about it, if they're sort of giving you the same experience, you're probably better off with a consistent experience. Now we're putting it on commitment mode, which is Iron Man, because we don't save scum on this channel. Because we're not fucking save scummers. All right. Intestines is my seed. That's cool. We're just going to take a random seed of planet. And off we go. I know I'm being wordy and preamble, but people had requested that I maybe explain this game a little bit more. And that's fair enough. It is obtuse from the outside looking in, for sure. So this is the whole planet. And what I find is generally pretty cool is if you just hit random site, it'll put you somewhere random. So, I mean, we could slam it all day. I think you can just jump around. I think there's a limit to the random, so if you want to be like one of these clickbait YouTubers, I don't mean to be disparaging, but the new hotness these days is to do a bloody ice shelf run. So you can go up here on the sea ice if you want. And you know what? There are a couple of channels that are watchable. I think Amphibious something or other, I can't remember his name. He's doing a really cool run at the moment up on there. But seriously, every second bloke that thinks he wants to get clicks for Rimworld just fucking plays sea ice shelf, and I think that's just silly. And then you've got all the different camps and that. The only thing that you could potentially consider when doing it is the sort of grow rates around the globe. So you can potentially down here, if you go to more information I think it is. No. Terrain. Year-round growing. So I believe the further south you go, you get more year-round, and then up here, you'll actually have seasonal growing period, only 50% of the time. So getting year-round growing is actually a pretty good boon, especially if you want to be more of a farmer. Deserts are usually like that, but they're a bit more arid, a bit short on trees. So there are some biome constraints and advantages. We're just going to go random and go where it puts us, which is there. That's perfectly fine. And then you pick your dudes. So, personally, I don't reshuffle these, but you can re-randomize them. I think you could just spam random until you get a super character. That's not in the spirit of the game. You get these three, and these are sort of the ones that you get to choose from. So I just stick from whatever it randomly gave me because I think that's good spirit, right? One thing that I screen for is this: incapable of none. Incapable of caring and social. Go away. Even though you're a torturer and a story writer, that is tempting. Well, I've got 3 incapable of none, and we've got you as well. Wow, we've actually got 3 more. This is a particularly favorable run. You also check on their health there. You got to avoid addictions if you can help it. He's got asthma, which can be a bit of a pain in the ass. Artery blockage, so he could have a heart attack. And then the flames of the passion for their work, which really helps for mood balancing. You can see my team down here. I don't really have a lot of that. Have we got any sort of double flames? Oh, wow. Look at this dude. Let's get him a cave world tender and a bartender. Okay. Let's get him involved. And you get it tells you what you've got for the highest stat. Medical 1 is not a good thing. If we can get someone with medical 10, that would be good. Construction, you want 2 or 3 minimum. I can't remember which one. And crafting, is there no crafting stat? Oh, okay. It's good to have shooting. This is probably a good start. This is a good start with what we've got. Low intellectual, but I don't trade that much, especially in the early game. And your colony can grow with more people. So we've got Meeks, the sickly child turned mailman, Silzard, Caveworld tender turned bartender, and Engie, the founder's apprentice that became a combat engineer. 74 years old. Nah, she'll be right. And let's go. So that's our setup. I'm just checking. Okay, we're all good. We're all good. Just making sure everything's connected and working fine. Okay, cool. So your 3 dudes drop down immediately. And off you go. You can pause. You can use 1, 2, 3 to speed up. You know, it's actually got good controls. One of the first things that you probably want to... Well, you could actually scout to see if there are ruins to maybe set up resonance in. Probably a smart move, actually. So we've got some down there. If you can try and stay central to the map, it helps with dealing with pirate raids. You know what? There's got some furniture in that. I think maybe the smart move is we set up shop here. So what you go... I'm not moving fast, sorry. You go to Architect, go to Zone. And this is where all your zoning tools are. And if you make a stockpile zone, you can drag it out. Like that. And generally speaking, you could just allow all. It doesn't allow some things, but essentially that's now telling my dudes, take all the shit that you can there. And your dudes usually haul on autopilot. Now, all of this is forbidden. That's what the X is. But if you click on it and press F, it allows it. And that's why I'm removing the X's on all our starting supplies. And we'll see if there's any more wood on the map. And there might be some steel. There we go. And get them to hoard that. Now, if you check their work schedule, everyone's different, and you can change between numbered priority or ticks box priority. In the early days, it's not that big a deal, right? I'm just going to tell everyone to do everything. The game defaults that, like, if someone's kind of shit at a job, it doesn't put them on the job. Personally, I'm of the, you know, we are running an ant colony here, so everyone fights, no one quits. And then another thing I like to do is go into the schedule, because they have dedicated sleep time, and I clear that. Because you can have night owls, you can have people that prefer to sleep at night. So I kind of just let the dudes sleep whenever they feel. And now they're basically just hoarding all this stuff down where I told them to. And off they go. So we get a few warnings here on the side to deal with. These are sort of colony-wide problems. Need colonist beds, right? So we can just fix that immediately quite simply. You can place a sleeping spot. Now, it's not a permanent solution. It's not very comfortable, but it's something. So we put down 3 and you can see that's gone. Now, Hunter likes ranged weapon. Excuse me. Just clearing the old throat. We start with a bolt rifle, so we'll equip the first guy, and then the second guy... Where's the revolver? We'll wait for him to come back home. Now, you could take them off hunting work priority. The whole reason that we're getting that warning is because they're hunters. If we turn off all those ticks, it'll go away. But if you put it back up, it's because the game is saying this he's supposed to go out and shoot animals, but he has no gun. So we need to fix that. Equip the revolver. But now we have a third dude and we only start with 2 guns. So what we're going to do is put down a production slot, a crafting slot right here. It's just a little pile where it's a little area cordoned off where they can make very basic stuff. And I'm going to go make short bow. And what I'm actually going to do is go do until you have 1. This is the build system that is pioneered by Rimworld and copied poorly by everyone else, basically. Everyone tries to iterate and change it. They shouldn't, because this slaps. This is the best way to do it. I know I'm moving fast, but essentially most workspaces, you add a bill, it'll be a job, smash mechanoid, make club. We've said make short bow. So this now spot has an existing job that is blaring out to anyone nearby to make it. And what I've done, you can change all the different variables and you can go into details. You can get quite into how you dictate the job being done. But what I do is I go do until you have X, I turn it down to 1. So what that means is, it's almost like making logic in Stationeers, I guess. someone's going to come along and craft the bow and put it in storage, and my colony will recognize that I now have 1 of 1 in storage, right? I'm probably then going to get someone to equip it, which will make this build then think 0 of 1, so then someone will come along and build another bow. This is a great way of keeping a minimum float of certain items. I do it for clothes a lot, so it's like make until 1, pants, shirt, jackets, hats. So you end up always at any given time, you will have a pair of pants ready to go. It's a great way if you have new colonists come in and they need new gear, and that's why I do that with the short bow. I do it with a lot of things. The other thing is, the bow comes out with a random chance of quality. So it could be a shit bow, it could be a good bow, that sort of thing, right? So they might make a bad bow, but then they're going to make another one might be better. So it's a good way to sort of level up your gear. So we'll just leave that go. And here you go, someone's already on it straight away making that bow. The other thing is you have wandering traders. You need to come up with an income solution. Making weapons that you trade, or trading weapons that you made, sorry, is very much an option. So there we go, we've made the bow. Hunter lacks weapon. We'll go in there and we'll equip it, and as soon as he picks that up, there you go, he's going to start making another one. Now we need recreation variety. At this point, all you can do is make, you can make a chess table straight away, but we've got a horseshoe pin, and you know what, let's just put that over here. Someone will make that, and then they can play horseshoes. Now you can manually grab your dudes. For example, NG is meditating, and if we go to NG's needs, NG's a Sheila, it's lifting their recreation bar up. Now in this game, you can't actively tell anyone to have fun, which makes sense, right? So if she's decided to meditate on her own accord, you probably shouldn't fuck with her. Let her, because if I unpause, her recreation bar is just going to keep going up, and then as she's wandered off doing her own thing. This guy's they're playing throwing horseshoes, and you can see the recreation's going up. So generally, if you can afford to do it, don't tell these guys to do other stuff, because getting them to charge their recreation on their own is something you can never tell them to do. So it's probably worth letting them. Sometimes they go for a walk, they do all sorts of different things to cheer themselves up. Anyway, so everyone's bringing in all the goods, which is good. So one of the next steps is probably to sort of secure this area and seal it in. We don't really have building mats. Well, actually, no, we've started with wood. So what you go is you go to structure, wall, and then you can just start walling it in. We've got a door there, which is pretty helpful. You know, wall all that in, wall this in. I don't think you need to do the diagonals, but I will anyway. And something else that you can also do is claim. We'll claim the door. But these ruins are the world's ruins. They're not our ruins, right? So, and see how they'll repair them. So I'll wait for them to seal this place up, and then once that's done, I'll get them to claim the area. Now, once they've finished building all the walls, they will automatically roof it. But at the moment, it's just ruins. So you can only do one thing at a time. And now they're all getting tired and going to sleep pretty much. Which, I mean, can you bloody blame them, you know? So you wait for them to sleep. I believe the game actually secretly goes a bit faster if your whole colony is asleep, but I'm not 100% sure on that. And then you can click on them and see what their mood and needs and all that is. And they're getting hungry, but see, they're filling their rest up by sleeping. Not a lot of comfort because they're sleeping on the floor. And the real magic to this game is the mood system. This arrow tells you which way this guy's mood is trending. So if he just keeps on doing what he's doing, he's eventually going to go down to there. And once they go below these nubs, there's a random dice roll going on in the background. A pass-fail. Now, if they fail the mood check while they're in one of these 3 sections, they'll have a break and they'll do something appropriate to that level. If they break in this higher one, it's probably just a small tantrum, or they go for a wander around. If they break right down here, if you let their mood get down to fucking nothing, and you can do that by feeding them human meat and all sorts of shit and making them cut up their mates, this game can get dark. So, and presumably not a good mood booster, but if you let it run down to there and then they crack, they'll do stuff like get their gun out and fucking start shooting people. So you have to look after their mood. And now it's getting roofed in. Nice. And what we'll probably just do is go and we'll claim all these tiles as our own so they look after them from a... Can I just select them all? No, I can't. So I actually have to press every single one. What a nightmare. And that way they will actually... You know what? I'll just unpause so they can start repairing. Because that'll take a little bit. But like if pirates attack and they attack a wall and smash it, like we need these guys to actually look after the walls. So you claim that. I mean, I guess we'll just claim everything that's in here. Monument. That monument should add good mood. Sarcophagus will probably add mood as well. If you press T, you can get a mood sort of widget. Like, for example, that's minus 15, and that's probably because there's dirt on the ground. So something you can do fairly early, which I do like to do, is you go into their work, you change it to manual priorities, and you can do something like put haul and clean on 2 for everyone. And it's a left to right priority order. It says higher priority, lower. So until you fuck with this, they will always firefight before they doctor, before they cook. Do you see what I mean? Like, research is always the last job they will ever do, right? But by doing it like this, I've told them no matter what, you always put stuff in storage and you clean up. And you'll see them, as soon as they finish these jobs, they'll start cleaning and sweeping. Well, if they're not doing recreation. I think they're all... Oh no, they're off hauling. They're hauling some metal that I must have untagged over here. Now, everyone's coming to come up with their own idiosyncratic ways of running a colony, right? That's how I personally like to do it. See, now they're hauling everything and making it all neat and tidy. Now, we're getting a minor break risk that someone's mood has dropped below that nub that we were talking about, or it's right on there, right? And then you can have a look. He's uncomfortable. He's got all these debuffs, disturbed sleep. The best way to fix that, you know, give him a bedroom and not have people fucking walk over him while they're sleeping. He's in darkness, sweaty, slept on the ground. So you got to sort of start trying to fix all their problems. So maybe getting all these blokes a bloody bed might be a smart move. Especially for comfort's sake. Now we've still got a little bit of wood. So we'll go to furniture, bed, and we might as well just make all 3 of them beds. Get that going now. So while this is all going on, there's obviously a world map. There's all sorts of shit that can happen. Other colonies can come by and trade with you. They can walk past. You can go out and attack other colonies if you want. And pirates will frequently attack you as well. You don't have to stay on this screen. You can do caravans, back and forth trading. You can move your colony somewhere else altogether if you really want. It's actually pretty insane. But for the most part, you'll probably stay here. There's seasonal components, so you need to grow food, you need to hunt food. But at the moment, we're just dealing with one thing at a time, basically. Here you go, Meeks. We'll give you that new bed. So this is very much, this game would lend itself to streaming. If you guys want to see me stream it, I'd be absolutely happy to do like a big 4-hour session. And this is one that routinely people will put on a podcast, put on Spotify in the background and just play this game until 3 a.m. It does have that power to absorb you. Now we need defenses and we need a meal source. As far as meal source goes, we'll probably get away with just a campfire for now. So I'll plonk a campfire down there in the corner. It says we're out of wood. So what we need is to zone a cutting area. Orders, I think it is. You go orders, chop wood, and you just drag, and that will mark all those trees for cutting. So it is one of those things, there's always something to do. I'll let them sleep. You can see Engie's taking forever to chop down the tree. And you can see she's leveling up. I think if you go to bio, and if you were to mouse over plants, you can see it ticking up, getting the XP. So that's one of the cool things, that it's basically they're all RPG characters. all of these skills can and will level up if they do the job. Now, like I said, I run it like an ant farm. Whoever's closest does the job, right? But you can quite easily, like, for example, one of my best mates, he will go, this dude, he gets up, he eats, and then he does research and he goes to bed, and that's his life. You know, you will have dedicated hunters. To a point, I will probably have to do that as well over time. But for the most part, I try and run the colony as just free form. God help us, almost. I don't want to say it, but almost like communism. Everyone just bloody does their own very socialist thing. Hey, it's a video game. I can pretend. I can play in a system that doesn't work and I hate. So it's my game. But generally that's what I do. I run it like it's a bloody an ant hive. So now they're all chopping down trees, and that's great. They've all got the new beds, so we can delete that out. Now we've got a visitor, and it's just one chick who we could trade with, and she's got a bow. So you can straight up trade with her. You can, oh, here we go, packaged meals. Let's get them. You can be a straight up malicious, horrible person, and I want to do this where you can just arrest this Sheila and put her in a prison cell. And then you can press gang her into joining. You just wear her down until she joins your colony. Now, if you do that, she'll be part of a faction, an entire colony somewhere else. So if I fucking kidnap this Sheila, immediately they go to war with me. So is it worth it? Maybe. But it's up to each person, right? At the very least, we can talk to her and say, hey, let's trade. And then you can see what she's got for sale. What am I selling? What she's selling? Well, here you go. I've got some spare pants that no one's wearing. I've got a spare bow. I'll keep that knife. She's selling some clothes, a recurve bow, and we start with some money to get the ball rolling. I might actually buy the recurve because it'll be better than what we've got. Steel spear. Yeah, actually, yes. And I've got 800 silver. I think we're good with starting medicine for the time being. I'll buy this shirt though. Fuck yeah, let's clear it out. But then she's got things that aren't for sale. She's got a husky with her. I didn't even realize. There, that husky must be hers. Mine? No. Oh, I couldn't sell her the husky because she's not interested. I'm getting a couple of people from chat saying that like they can't get a read on if they'd enjoy it, and I remember being that person. I will confess, I spent 6 months fence sitting on Rimworld before I ever took the dive. It was one of the toughest, strangest purchases for me ever. So if you find yourself watching this and you're curious, like I said, this has been more of an introductory, trying really hard to explain how the game works. We haven't even gotten into combat. We haven't even got into the fact that you can do medical, look, they've got pain, consciousness, all this bloody talking, their blood pumping and filtration capacity. So if they're bloody poisoned or anything like that, all things that are part of it, they can lose fucking limbs and you can replace them, and you have to do full-on surgery with bloody medicine and cutting them up and that sort of stuff. You can be a dark person. You can capture pirates, put them in a prison cell. I have mates that do this. They just cut them up and take out one kidney, one lung, and eventually pull the heart or the brain out and put it in storage to then sell. So this game, I guess you could call it dark if you want, but it's pretty free form of what you can do. But it's so difficult to pitch it to someone who hasn't ever played it or touched it or anything like that. But anyway, there is a rabid fan base out there. I'm happy to count myself among them. This game is an absolute slapper. But like I said, very expensive. Pretty sure it doesn't ever go down in price. And as some people even said in my chat on the side, they can't tell if they'd like it. They're not sure. So not for everyone, absolutely. But I would highly recommend it if you were ever willing to dip the toe and you had the money to throw at it. This game could really destroy you. It could absorb your life. Anyway, look, slower start, but again, at the request of my community, we sort of took the pace a bit slower this time, and I did my best to explain it. Let me know if, maybe you found this interesting and helpful. Maybe you want to see more episodes. Maybe you want to see me stream it later on. I would love to hear it. Maybe you picked it up. absolutely tell me if you put it on your wish list or something like that. I love to hear about that sort of stuff. But team, we might just finish it up there. So thanks again for joining me. I'll leave it there and I will catch you guys on the next one.